My brother, Tyler Haas, passed away from a heroin overdose Thanksgiving morning 2011. Obviously, it's one of the most difficult things I've ever been through.
Using prescription drugs prior to heroin use is a common phase, you could say, into, I guess you'd call graduating to heroin. At least half of the heroin users that I've dealt with in my line of work started off using prescription medication. There's no one typical type of person that uses heroin or prescription pills. It's not a male problem, white problem, black problem. It's across the board a problem.
I mean, I had a great life growing up. You know, I have amazing parents. I can ask for better parents. I was a good kid. I ended up getting mixed up with the wrong crowd. Started doing heroin, and it totally turned my life upside down.
I knew Kelly was using. Her attitude changed from being a real nice person to just kind of a bitter, get away from me and I'm going to leave the house and see you later.
When she'd come home sometimes, her eyes would look different and she would act different. She started trying to avoid the family more so than the average teenager, I guess. She had saved up a substantial amount of money to go on to school, and that started going downhill fairly quickly.
Typical warning signs to look for, especially with opiate use, a lot of times we see people that lose weight because their need for the drug becomes their sole driving purpose in life. Heroin and prescription medications have a psychological and physical dependency. So if you don't get that drug, it becomes very difficult to function. A lot of times people who have addiction, especially to heroin, we see, it's very embarrassing for them because there's such a dirty stigma with heroin use. The stigma with prescription medications is that they aren't dangerous in our society. You can find the prescription opioid pills like Percocets, Oxycontins. Pretty much any house in the city is going to have that in them because they're prescribed so much for injuries. So it's a dangerous gateway into heroin that I think a lot of young people don't even realize. Somebody who's addicted to prescription medication, they build their tolerance and the prescription pills become too expensive for them to maintain their habit.
Addiction is a chronic disease. Just like diabetes or hypertension, it works in that same way, so it's with you for the long haul. If they say no, they're not ready for treatment, just let them know that you're there for them and that when they're ready, that you'd be there to help them with whatever they need. Certain treatment options come like with a medical assisted type of a program. It would be a little bit easier for that person to maybe think of quitting because it wouldn't be quitting cold turkey.
If you're struggling with addiction, it's just that you got to talk about it. If you don't want help, it is very, very, very difficult. I encourage everyone to talk about it as much as they can and get as much help as you possibly can.
I ended up seeking help because I got arrested. While I was incarcerated, I found out I was pregnant. I just realized I can't do this lifestyle anymore. It's not just me. I have to take care of someone else. I go to treatment weekly, I go to groups, I go to NA twice a week, and I just surround myself with good people and good influences.
My advice for other parents in the same situation would be to don't give up. When they do finally say, yeah, I need some help, or whatever it comes down to, give them a lot of love and support. Don't shun them away. Just, they need you. They need you a lot.
Just noticing the signs and symptoms and paying attention to the little things that makes all the difference in the world.
Just don't give up hope. There is another way of life.